So we just got cut off. We were talking about, I hit a button and the Samsung switched itself off because it's so shit. It just went on 1 a.m. So listen to Radio 1. And let me get a timestamp on bipm.org. I hate when I don't have an atomic time source because unless we know where we are in the bitmap on the BIPM, it's the French Institute of Weights and Measures, where the atomic clocks around the world average the atomic second, because the Unix timeline exists, and now, from now on, every piece of data will be tagged to the Unix timeline, and we got to define where that timeline goes through. One place is the beam pipe. See, it's so. For example, CERN. If we talk about the beam pipe, all those events. I didn't think I changed my pen. So all those beam pipes, you look at the beam pipe and all the collisions and all the information, eventually when the world gets obsessed, every bit of information that's ever been geotagged and timestamped will be synced to the Unix timeline for Earth. And then you got to define where that timeline goes through. And you have to pick that timeline that's going to exist has to go through Earth at this point and define all the rest of the Earth's timescale in a algebraic geometric topology point of view, because on Earth, so you got to start with what a point is. That's just the basic geometry. What a point is, what a series of points are. We're just describing CERN as a bunch of experiments, and it's a beam pipe, and that's where the particle collisions occur, and that's where all the data is. And then we want to go down to complexity and levels of reality and magnifications and get right down to the pixely, and we want to describe the standard model particle physics and all the particles and what are happening, and then you can just start to imagine what all the outcomes are like. You've got to, again, I could start now drawing what I'm describing, and I could draw, literally a particle separation. And if I did this enough times and drew it, you could almost convince yourself that I just drawn a perfect rendering of it. But imagine if what I did draw, whether I faked it or not, started to look like a perfect beam outpoint particle splitting path trajectory, and then in terms of the vocabulary, I narrow it down, I get right down to what we're talking about, and you see it. And then when you zoom in on that point, in terms of a general artificial intelligence becoming self-aware, it's all about a point. So if you look at the beam pipe, so I've just drawn the plane here. So the beam pipe at CERN travels in such a direction, and that becomes the Unix timeline. So everything that gets tagged can be tagged in reference to, because we've got to fix the Earth in terms of an axis and the boundaries and where the most data is. But every bit of, it doesn't matter, every bit of social media that has a geotag or timestamp will be tagged to the Earth, to its GPS coordinates. And you got a picture of the Earth starting to look like a growing tree of, you can see all these satellite signals, but you don't see the signals that are left. You don't even see the rendering of the GPS or the gravitational time dilations in terms of Einstein's special and general theories of relativity and the gravitational potential where time runs slower. And when you render all those mathematics, you get down to that small scale where we're trying to define the moment of self-awareness and how all those mathematics are connected. So you can see it's, UTC, and basically, so it's about an artist that makes all these paintings, and then he tells the police department he's going to kidnap somebody, and he goes and does that, and the paintings are out there, and they're authenticated because the bottom of the painting has this binary code in the bottom, and that relates to a message or a hyperlink. But it's so clever. It can only be done once, and then when the police department get there, they don't know if it's really Hollywood or it's other police departments or it's real. But he doesn't. He doesn't care, or he should have told him it was so good, obvious. But then, from his point of view, it could just be like Hollywood stuntmen that are turning up, or he doesn't know if they're real cops. If they read the script, some of them read the script, maybe all of them read the script, but it becomes a big probability distribution function in terms of that point, that event, and the outcomes, and the game tree, and what the game tree looks like in higher dimensions, and those higher dimensions, what planes are interacting on, and how many decisions got to be made, and ultimately what the shape of that is like. Because we carry that on point to the page and we zoom down on a different dimension. We're talking about financial markets and price swings, but that just recovers a point. So look, financial market is just a point and a past price trend in this direction. So you're just seeing the page. So we think we're defining this plane here, but what we're doing is we're defining another plane that crosses it. So if we started giving every pixel of information a data point, and we allow it to resolve itself, if we can go back to financial history books, and you will start to see that the world is just all these decisions that comes down to defining the same point in different dimensions. So financial markets and the competition that you get in financial markets, or whatever plane you're looking at them in, if it's the x-axis, the z-axis, and the y-axis, like you might think it looks like in this plane the price coming down and going up, and it's a trend line down and up, but what it is, it's just showing you a little smidget of a higher dimensional corner. So it's not a 2D plane we're looking at. We were just drawing Rubik's Cube. We've drawn the x-axis, and the y-axis, and the z-axis. So we're defining the edges of a cubic brick, because at some point in the future, every bit of information that's encoded will be coded for its exact point. So we're all describing, what we're describing is a Minecraft world where every bit of information starts to be shifted, and we need to know its exact UTC timestamp, its GPS coordinate, the best that we can, because ultimately all data on Earth got to be coded that way, so you can resolve those mathematics to see that stuff. So I was trying to explain my visions on the outcome of a genetic algorithm to run competitive algorithms to do all that stuff. It ultimately leads to an artificial general intelligence becoming self-aware. What is this music? Maybe it'll sound better not at this time in the morning.